Good morning, guys. You're listening to Ebird Online, and I'm here with another review from Before the 90 Days. And this is Season 3, Episode 9, Out of the Blue. As usual, I'm going to split this review up into 3 parts. And my couples for today are Michael and Angela, and Ben and Akinyi. First up, Benjamin and Akinyi. If you haven't yet, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like the video as well. And thank you to all of the people that have been supporting me for the last few weeks. I feel really humbled. I've had an amazing uptake on my subscribers. I'm still pushing, still striving. I'm glad you like my content, and there's going to be more of the same. So first up, we're going to Nairobi, and we're going to talk about the relationship of Benjamin and Akinyi, or as I like to call them, Bikini. So last week, as you all know, Benjamin finally got his approval from the elders and from Akinyi's family. The approval that we all knew was going to happen, and the approval which is the prelude to the big sum of money they're going to ask for Akinyi's bride price. Nevertheless, Akinyi tells us that she's very proud of Benjamin for getting this approval. And honestly, I think it's like one of these TV competitions where they ask you a really obvious question that every single person knows the answer to. So basically, everybody's a winner. All you have to do is call this premium rate number for 15 minutes to find out what you've won. Whoever Akinyi put in front of her family was going to be a winner. They just wanted to know how much we'll be able to extract from you. So we see Akinyi and Ben in the Airbnb that Ben's been paying for all of last week, yet not even having the pleasure of staying there. And finally, he's in a really nice place in Nairobi. So it's a really nice Airbnb. It has 2 separate beds. And Benjamin asks Akinyi, where does your dad think you are? So Akinyi tells him he thinks she's gone on safari for a week. Safari? Akinyi, is that really the best you could do? So he thinks that Ben is in Nairobi with him and the rest of your family, and that you're with an unknown person on safari. I'll tell you the real story, Akinyi. Your dad very well knows that you're in the same house and that you're in Ben's Airbnb. But he also knows it will look bad. He knows that to extract a good price, you've got to go to work, and he wants Ben to be able to try before he buys. But Baba Akinyi doesn't want to look bad. So Baba Akinyi is pretending that you're able to pull the wool over his eyes and pretend that you've gone to safari for a week. Am I right or am I right? And guys, that's a rhetorical question. I know I'm right. Akinyi then says to Ben, why are we sleeping separately? Ben says it's an example to his parishioners and to the church, and that he's a man of God and he wants to run his life in with God's teachings. And later on in a VT, Akinyi says they're not going to have sex because that's what Benjamin wanted. So she's insinuating that that's not what she wanted, it's what he wanted. She then tells Ben that she finds it odd that he doesn't want to have sex with her, and she's never ever been in a position where she's with a guy who doesn't want to have sex with her. And she tells Ben she won't let him touch the forbidden fruits. She won't let him put his hand in the cookie jar. I think she will. And I think the only thing that's going to stop them is that Ben's not going to try. And Ben tells her he's going to sleep on the sofa and she can sleep in the bedroom. She says, if you see me walking around in a towel, are you going to be able to control yourself? And she looks at Benjamin's face and she says, you're starting sweating. But Benjamin tells her, yes, I'll be able to control myself. I think I'll be fine. And when we catch up with them later on, they're going to a zoo. At the zoo, we see monkeys, zebras and rhinos, but not one of them have the hide of Akinyi and her family. And then Akinyi asks Ben, do you think Grayson would like me? And I think probably not if he's been watching this show. And then she said, what would you introduce me as? Benjamin stuttered for a minute and then he said, my future wife and stepmother. Is that okay? Akinyi looks really worried about this whole mothering issue. And she said that she's worried because she's going to be transitioning to moving to a different country and a different culture. And then she's going to have to do this parenting and that she's not looking forward to it. Which is never a great thing to say about somebody else's child, even if it's really how you feel. And she said to Ben that she's very nervous and that she just wants to be introduced as a friend. So I was thinking about this and I think that Ben saying stepmother sounded really quite, quite formal and also quite imposing. And whilst I know most of my subscribers think, just get with it, go and be a parent, I can kind of understand why she wants to come in as a friend. I think she's worried about being too imposing on Grayson. And I also have a sneaking suspicion that she's slightly worried about actually stepping on his mum's toes, coming in and saying, I'm your stepmother. So I think that's on her mind as well. Ben points out that Grayson's only 5 and that he's got quite an open mind. But he also points out that Akinyi doesn't have a choice over whether she parents Ben or not. And if it doesn't go well in the first instance, and if Grayson doesn't like her straight away, Akinyi will have to work it out. And I think you're being a little bit harsh. I honestly think that Akinyi's got quite a young soul. She's quite childish. So I think she'll be fun for Grayson. And I do actually think that they'll get on. Grayson seems like a very well-mannered child, so I don't think he's going to actually run her nerves. And I think in this situation, the best thing for Ben to say is, you guys should meet, get to know each other, and we'll take it from there. They have 90 days when they get to the other side, remember? So the best thing for her is to come over to America, meet Grayson, and see where it goes. I think that most children, irrespective of your relationship with them, if they are 5 and you are an actual adult, most children look to you for guidance, for advice, and most children consider themselves to be in your care, even if you only have to look after them for 10 minutes. So because she doesn't seem to have been in that position before, I think she doesn't know these things, and Ben should be there to reassure her and to hold her hand a little bit. And the next time we see the couple, they're at a restaurant called Carnivore. Sounds like my kind of restaurant, guys. Meat, meat and more meat. And she tells Ben she's worried about moving to America. But Benjamin tells her he could never ever move to Kenya because obviously he has his son. And I'm really surprised that she bothered to ask that question. Of course he's not going to move thousands of miles away from his child. And then they ordered food and drink. And she decides she's going to have a margarita. And then 5 minutes later, Akinyi, after one sip of the margarita, tells us she's drunk. And I've got to say, it seemed like she was acting, but maybe we missed something. Maybe it was super strong and she's not used to drinking, or maybe she'd had 2 by this point. I don't know, but the glass is quite full for her to be saying that she's drunk. She wanted to order another one, but Benjamin said absolutely not, and he put his foot down. And whilst Akinyi's drunk, Akinyi tells us she talks to Jesus whilst drunk. And that answers most of the questions that I have about Akinyi. In fact, nearly all the questions I have about Akinyi. And she asks Ben for another drink. Ben says no. And she says, please, gonna have just one more. I won't ask again for anything. And Ben then starts wondering if she's going to be drinking when she looks after Grayson. I don't think even Akinyi would try and get drunk when looking after a 5-year-old. And Benjamin thinks that that might make her unsuitable. Benjamin, she brought you to Africa and told you at the last minute that you had to pay a bride price. She then let you stay with her brother and didn't explain to you that you were going to have to do so before. She then stood over you as you ate your dinner. She got angry with her brother over a secret comment which she wouldn't divulge to you, and then let you take the fall with her brother because it looked as if you'd upset her, and she failed to back you up. All of those reasons potentially make her unsuitable. Maybe you should think about those things when considering her suitability. And let me know what you think. I'm not saying I think she's going to be the most suitable stepmom, but everyone deserves the chance, and none of us can tell until she's actually met Grayson and Grayson has met her and they see if they can click. And it seems to me that Benjamin is focusing on the wrong things. If you give alcohol to somebody that rarely drinks, then the chances are they're going to get drunk real quick. So next up we come to Michael and Angela. And as we know, last week Angela spoke with Michael's mum and she suggested that he have a child with someone else if Angela was unable to conceive. So in other words, have a child with someone else. And so Angela decides to speak to Michael about it. And according to Angela, all she wants is the truth. So they're sitting by the pool and she says to Michael, if I would agree to you seeing another woman or having a baby on the side, would you be up for doing that? Just be honest, I gotta know where you stand. And really what Angela wants from this exchange is for Michael to say, no, I'd never do that to you. But she keeps on saying, tell me the truth, just tell me the truth. Michael, it's a trap. When you tell her the truth, she's going to flip out. She then asks him about polygamy, and she knows good and well that quite often in Nigeria, people have polygamous marriages. And so Michael says, in Nigeria, it's common to have a side chick and have a child if you can't have a child with your partner. And at this, she absolutely flips out. And she says, if you ever think I would let you F another B, you got the wrong one. Oh no, you got the wrong one. And again, Angela, how unfair. What is he supposed to say? He wants a kid. You always knew he wanted to have a child. You've even asked your daughter if she will carry the child for you. So you know it's a very real want of his. But still she flips out and she says, if it can't be done, you need to stop wasting my time and find yourself another woman. You'll have plenty of time when I'm dead and gone to have a child. And so Angela sets up Michael once again. I've got many friends for whom having a child was an absolute deal breaker, and their partner didn't want to have a child and they did, and so they kept it moving. So it's not something that's peculiar to Nigerians or peculiar to Africans. Worldwide, if people want children, they go and find someone who they can have children with. And once again, poor old Michael is caught in a trap. Tell the truth and she'll go absolutely mad, or tell a lie and she'll go absolutely mad as well. You're in a no-win situation. So Angela and Michael decide to go to a Nigerian fertility clinic. And as they're walking in, I couldn't help but notice Angela's got the kind of figure that might preclude one from knowing if she's pregnant for a good few months, to say the least. And for all she knows, she could be 9 months pregnant right now. This trip to the clinic could give them both the happy news that they've been looking for. And as they're walking in, Angela says it may be difficult to have a baby. It may even be impossible. Angela, did you attend school? I'll take your impossible and I'll raise you one. It's maybe even inconceivable. In fact, no, I'll raise you one more. It's preposterous. Angela's worried about him backing out of the relationship if she can't give him a child. But when she gets in there, she tells the doctor that she hasn't had a period for 7 months and that she's 52 years of age. If she can conceive, it will be nothing short of a miracle. So the doctor explains that she's going to have a transvaginal scan. And Angela says she's sweating. Lovely. Angela's sweating. Oh God, that scan's going to be a joy to perform. But during the scan, the doctor discovers that Angela has one remaining egg. And Angela's immediately so happy and so joyful. I've got one egg. I've got one egg. Angela, it's kind of like when you want to make an omelette and you just find one egg, lonely as a cloud, sitting in the back of your fridge. What are the chances that that egg is going to be fit for human consumption? Very slim. And the doctor explains that the egg may not be live and that the chances are, because there's only one, they'll have to look at other options for having a baby. And she tells the VT later, I was so happy when I saw there was an egg, but then we realised if it wasn't live and if it couldn't be done, we'd have to revert to our plan B, which is looking for another egg, but she only wants to have an egg with her genes. And so she says she's going to ask Skylar just one more time. I have a thought that because Skylar said, hell no, no way, that somehow Skylar's not going to agree. And I also keep thinking to myself, why is Angela just talking about this one baby and if we can have a baby, a baby? I pretty much guarantee you that once Michael has one child, he's going to want another. How many Nigerians do we know that only have one child? They normally have quite big families, 2, 3, 4, sometimes even more. One is going to be the least of your worries, Angela. And then you also need to consider the fact that even if you do have one, it's going to be you that's the primary caretaker. And so you have to consider starting a family again at this late stage. I'm not saying it's impossible, and we know people that have done it, but it kind of seems to me that Angela would be very happy just living life, having fun, chilling out with Michael in America, looking after her grandkids. And I think she only really is going to have this child just to placate Michael and to keep Michael. And I don't know if I think that's a good idea. In fact, I do know I don't think it's a good idea. But then what are we worrying about? Michael will only be with Angela for the 4 years that it takes for him to get his green card, and then she won't see him for dust. So as usual, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Is Akinyi going to make a good step parent? Should they introduce Akinyi as a friend, or as a girlfriend, or as his wife, or as a stepmother straight away? And step parents out there, let me know your experiences. Have you had issues getting to know your partner's children? How easy has the transition been? And have you faced any problems? Please don't forget to subscribe. And also, don't forget to like the video. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Stay tuned for my videos later in the week. Ciao for now.